50% of all the output of all farmers, of all agricultural products in the country, not only in Negros Oriental, be bought by government at their farm gate price. Sa presyo ng magsasaka, hindi sa presyo ng traders. So, ang mga magsasaka kikita, mas malaki ang magiging income nila ng lahat ng agricultural products. That is our proposal. If we need to put it in a law, we will put it in the law. That is the program that we are proposing as members of the Alliance.
Do all the other senators like to answer the question?
Ako po.
Okay.
Nananggaling sa Makati City ay may proposal po pagdating sa ating kultura. Kahapon ay po sinamiting with the sugar farmers from Bataan. And I was informed that 80% of our sugar is actually locally sourced, 20% we have to import. So imagine if we become 100% reliant on local produce and we can even export our sugar. Ang laki po ng tulong nito sa ekonomiya ng Negros. 11 months po na walang ani, pero once a year na po ang ani ng sugar. What the sugar industry needs is support, not just from government. Sasabihin mo, siyempre, kailangan ng tulong mula sa gobyerno. But I think we also need to have an environment that is conducive for private investors to come in. Bring in their money. Sila po ang magtayo ng magandang milling para bumaba po ang presyo ng sugar. Let us support our local farmers. Stop the importation of high sucrose. Kasi yun po yung kalaban ng ating local farmers. So, we need policies. Stop importing sugar during the time na nag-harvest. Kasi babagsak ang presyo ng sugar. Mababa po ang presyo na pwedeng ibenta ng sugar yung mga farmers po natin. So let us make a clear policy na pag panahon ng ani, pag panahon ng harvest, no importation. That has to be clearly in black and white at panghawakan yun ng farmers natin. Yun po ang kailangan para meron pong assurance ang agricultural sector na mababawi nila yung puhunan nila at kikita pa sila dahil mahaba pang proseso dahil magtatanim sila ulit bago sila magkaroon ulit ng ani.
Senator Pacquiao.
Actually po pagdating sa agrikultura, may ginawa po kasi ako naman dyan sa yung magandang programa po. Hindi ko po, actually mahabang experience. May gumawa po sa programa na napaganda at makatulong sa ating mga farmers. Yung tinatawag ko itong PDC, yung Production, Distribution and Consumption. Dahil doon po, nasusukat yung lahat ng mga basic commodities na ginagamit ng tao araw-araw. Kung ano yung mga shortage tayo, o kulang, o sobra. And pangalawa, doon sa distribution, very crucial na may say ang ating gobyerno dahil minsan, ito po, na-witness ko nung nag-iikot ako sa buong Pilipinas, ay may encounter po ako isang farmer, kaani lang niya, yung produkto niya, binili ng almost 50 pesos per kilo and then tuwang-tuwa na yung farmer. But pagdating sa market, tinanong ko yung mga nagtitinda doon kung magkano yung presyo per kilo, nasa 200 plus po, kulang-kulang 300 pesos per kilo. So, binili ng almost 50 pesos, tapos pagdating sa market, naging almost 300. So, dalawang nagulangan yung mga farmer natin, yung mga farmers natin, and then ang kumikita yung pang middleman. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na tinitira yung mga middleman, pero huwag nang tama sa mas sobra at masigit pa doon sa kanilang mga capital income nila. And also, dito sa programa ito, alam na may challenge yung mga farmers natin dahil ang gobyerno ang bibili sa kanilang produkto at hindi na sila para middleman. So, napakaganda nito. And yun po ang talagang importante na ma-encourage natin yung mga farmers natin para magtanim at hindi ma-discourage sila. Especially itong importation naman na i-encourage pa natin sila. Maraming salamat po.
Meron ba ang makakal? Sa Senator Rubin,
Yes, actually, sinusuportahan natin ang lahat ng programa ng Administrasyon Marcos sa pagsuporta sa agrikultura. One of them which is the new Agrarian Emancipation Act which passed in 2023, which my mother, Senator Cynthia Villar, as the chairman of the Committee on Agriculture and of Agrarian Reform, she helped pass this bill. And this condones the debt of over 600,000 farmers nationwide. So, nakukuha na nila yung titulo ng lupang sakahan nila at nakukondone na rin or nawawipe na rin yung debt nila. Para sa kanila na po yan, pwede na po nilang pamana sa pamilya nila. Dito po sa Dumaguete City, last 2024 po, si President Bongbong Marcos po ay nagbigay to more than 5,000 na farmers and beneficiaries. So yan yung unang step natin. Yung mga farmers natin, ibigay na po natin sa kanila yung mga farmlands nila and free them of the debt. And then after that, step 2 naman po, also the efforts of the Department of Agriculture through legislation. We have to help our farmers modernize and manage their farm well. So kung karagdagang kaalaman man yan or bagong machines, ay maaari rin po natin ibigay yan to make sure that they will be able to efficiently farm their lands and produce their goods.
Alright, let's hear with Secretary Ayala.
Yes, okay. Mabilis lang, no? Number one, laging nasa rin naman natin sa ano kay kayo, kapitan. Kasal, of course,
Halos naman ang mabalita tungkol po sa drugs.
So in this respect, yung pautang sa farmers kung lumapit sa 5-6 yan, baka po pwedeng ibigay ng national government. At kung ginagawa ng ngayon po, napakamura interest, 100%, is it utilized? Number 2, climate change. May traffic ka, may bago ka. Tignan natin ang crop insurance dito. Hindi lang ang dapat inimitahan ito sa palay at sa bigas, sa corn. Dapat expand din dito. At sa mura ka, oil ay subsidize na dito. Pangatlo, yung lupa na sinasabi. Baka ma-convert ka sa ita, hindi ka mag-isip. Baka pwede mabago pa ang milyan ito. Pang-apat, bilang ama, kung malaki naman sa saka, kapag yung mga isla, alam natin, libre, eskwelahan, sa state universities, at TechPro, i-prioritize natin. At kung pwede iba ang mga mata, gawin natin, anyway, kung tayo makakakits, i-determine natin, alam mo makakakit. At alam ko, kung sa sugar industry, siguro ang pwede natin magawa rito, SRA, Sugar Regulatory Authority, ay i-expand natin. Ito yung sinasabi ng Secretary Pico yan. Bakit? Dahil ito yung sinasabi kung kailangan importasyon o hindi. Protect our local farmers, i-expand natin ang authority dito. And of course, the SIDA, ito yung subsidy sa implement sa mga mechanization. Napakailangan dito. Ang ito, transportasyon. Napakalaking bagay dito, transportasyon. Dapat nakakasito. Sa panaman, kung hindi man sa iyo, maulitus ito, ang lugar na pata, o kaya mga trainers, of course, I will see that. Thank you.
Okay, ngayon habang si Senator Lacson.
Kanina on the way here from the airport, nadaanan po kami Kadiwa store. So tinanong ko yung nagsundo sa akin, gaano ba ka-aktibo yung Kadiwa store dito? Sabi niya hindi masyado kasi maraming kulang. So ang magagawa ko lang siguro, at ito yung pinapaaral ko na kasi naitanong na ito nung unang rally namin sa Gawa, na bakit hindi natin ma-institutionalize yung Kadiwa store by way of legislation. So yun yung parang work in progress, assuming na mananalo, na ito yung isa sa mga legislation na itutulak ko sa Senado. Maghanap ako ng counterpart sa House. Thank you.
Meron bang mga habol? Wala na. Okay, let's call on Roy Bustillo, K5 FM and TV5.
Hello, good afternoon po sa lahat. May hapon po sa lahat. Negros Oriental po is an emerging tourist destination po, and one of the lead people is the airport. And I believe Michelle's yung big project namin ito. One of the infra set aside. We need how could you help us, sir? When you go to the Senate, you know, to boost up or protect the tourism industry here. Thank you, Bob.
Who among would like to answer this? Senator Sokok.
Right question, sir?
Thank you, Kuya. Well, as mentioned, Senator Lasso was saying something about infrastructure. We would be needing more infrastructure to accommodate tourists and develop tourist spots. There is one, shall we say, natatagong galing ng Negros Oriental. It is a fact that Dumaguete is in this area is number 2 when it comes to the fluency in English. And what we need to do is to develop the BPOs. We need to develop the BPOs in Dumaguete, in Negros Oriental, for that matter. The business processing outsourcing so there must be more, there should be courses or test na trainings to develop pa ang BPO dito sa Dumaguete and Negros Oriental. Bigay ko yun, medyo maganda rin puso yun aside from tourism.
Okay, Senator Avalos.
Okay, for tourism naman, undoubtedly, I will support the development of the, I think it's Paco Airport, right? Yes, and it will serve not only Negros Oriental, like guys of Occidental, and even parts of Singapore, at dumadami na turista dito. Napaka-importante kasi dahil nandiyan na maganda yung decent order. Dahil kung hindi ako nakakamali, you've got one of the greatest national sites in the country. At marami na panalo ang tourism department natin, one of which is the tourism, is the Taipei. Ang ganda ng akot mo dito, at ang mga sites na dito. Ito attraction talaga, imagine mo, sa ibang lugar, ang dalamig ito. Sa atin, that one of the biggest biodiversity is here in your area. So, it's so easy to promote, kailangan because the airport and very sure, dahil dami hindi lang local tourists, but also the foreign tourists.
Okay, yes, thank you so much for all our senatorial candidates answering the questions from the local media. Now let's move on with the questions from the national media. Dino Matini of Abante.
Good afternoon, everyone. My first question about Westfield DLT. Patuloy ang harassment and escalation within this West Building C. So, and the latest was the dangerous maneuver of the Chinese Coast Guard. So, alarming po yung aggression ng China. So, ano pa dapat gawin ng gobyerno? What would you propose to mabawasan yung tension at maging panatag yung relasyon ng China?
Senator Lacson.
We are in full support of the policy of President Bongbong. Yung policy niya sa West Philippine Sea, napaka-obvious na sabi niya, hindi tayo susurrender at even an inch. Hindi, as isang pulgada, hindi natin i-surrender. Ang isang ginagawa niya ngayon na nagugustuhan ko ako personally, yung nakikipag-alliance siya sa iba't ibang countries sa malalakas. Kung hindi man kasi lakas ang China, eh pag pinagsama-sama at consolidate, pagiging kasi lakas o mas malakas pa sa China, ito yung expose ko noong para tinatawag kong balance of power. Kasi hindi naman natin kaya magyan ng China. Napakalakas ng kanilang Navy, ng kanilang armed forces, sa PLA, walang comparison sa ating armed forces. So sa pakipag-alliance natin sa ibang bansa, nagkakaroon mga joint exercises, At sila, meron din silang sariling interest sa West Philippine Sea o sa South China Sea. So nandiyan ang Estados Unidos, andyan yung Canada, Japan, Australia, at mga ibang bansa pa sa Europa. Ang interest nila dyan, siyempre, sea lanes, yan ang daanan ng komersyo. Kaya naman, ang national interest sa atin talaga, exclusive economic zone, pero naman natin kaya pumunta. Ang isang potent na weapon sa arsenal natin, yung Mutual Defense Treaty. Matagal na ito, at ito yung umiiran at tratado between the Philippines and the United States. An assault on a public vessel on either country is deemed an assault on the public vessel of the other country. So napakainam. Sana huwag ka-trigger kasi kaya kailangan natin magkaroon ng balance of power para sa halip na mag-impita tayo ng giyera, ma-prevent natin yung giyera kasi mag-iisip sa 10 beses yung China bago sila mag-invade o mag-assault sa isang public vessel, sa isang navy vessel ng Pilipinas. Kaya nga yung ginagawa ng armed forces ngayon, kahit sila na yung BPS Sierra Madre, hindi nila ito dinedecommission. Nananatili itong commission vessel ng Philippine Navy. Sa ganon, ito yung parang pantay natin dyan, maski yung 30 marine personnel lang nagmaman dyan at nire-resulta yan kami regularly. Pero hindi ito talaga ma-atake directly ng China kasi kung titrigger ito ng Mutual Defense Treaty, nag-iisip din sila. Alam niyo yung resources sa West Philippine Sea, napakalawak in terms of natural gas at saka ng oil. Napakatagal na po pinag-aralan nila ito. 1968 pa, nagpadala na sila ng mga geologists dyan. At ang estimate dyan, hundreds of billions of barrels of oil and trillions of natural gas, yung kung sa quantity bibilangin. So sa isang banda, pwede rin natin i-explore yung possibility. Na-try na namin yung Senator Soto ito doon kay President Duterte na kung saan pwede tayo makipag-joint exploration sa China. But isa lang na napaka-importanting condition, kailangan ma-respeto yung 60-40 na arrangement ayon sa ating konstitusyon. Nag-succeed na sana nun, pero somewhere along the way, medyo nagkaroon ng glitches at hindi natuloy. Payag si Presidente Duterte noon na makipag-usap sa China at pumayag preliminarily, no? Matutuwa kami kasi pumayag sila sa 40-60. Although, sa actual, hindi talaga 40-60 kasi naman po 40 ang kapital ng technology, lahat. Pagka nagkapartihan sa profit, hindi talaga magiging 60-40. Pero tayo, ang hapon natin, on paper, at least officially, 60-40. So ang subliminal message noon, kinikilala ng China na talaga sa Pilipinas ito. Kasi pumasok sila. Doon, papasok talaga sila sa 60-40 agreement base sa ating konstitusyon.
Sino pang nahabol? Ano the senatorial candidates regarding the West Philippines? Alright. Meron pang isang question dito si Bindo.
Malapit na sa summer, sure, kakaroon ng price. Pero, so, ang taas ng presyo ng BNF. So, ano pang proposal mo para ma-reduce yung presyo ng BNF? Like, removing the VAT, mag-logic tax, do you agree sa ganyan?
Well, records will show that 13 Congress ay filed a resolution na kasi yung iba ng pinasya sa mga petrolyo at kuryente. At that time, I filed a resolution pakapasa, na pinapasuspindi ko for several years itong pag-implementa sa kuryente at sa petrolyo. And that is the same argument na gagawin. Kasi nga, this will be inflationary. At nararamdaman natin ang ano. In fact, there are renewed calls for this. And I still stand by that position. Naniniwala ko. At least bawasan natin ito at the very least. Bakit? Kasi kung matakas ang kuryente mo, paano papasok ang factory mo if you're the second most expensive electrical rate in Asia? Ano gagawa ng mga kotse kung ano pa lang, mataas na kagad ang overhead expense? Yung manufacturing ko. But imagine it, even for the economists, bawasan ang overhead kung kita mo ito. Papasok ka na ng negosyo. Dadami ang trabaho ng trickling down effect. So that's my argument before, and that still remains my argument now. If ever elected, I will still pursue this one. And not only that, yung paggawa natin ng permits agreed. I was telling kanina, this is when I was the secretary of the ALG. Pinuntahan ako ng National Grid. Ang sabi sa akin, secretary, 5 taon na ayaw bigyan ng permit. Sabi niya nila. So, ginawa ko, pinabigyan ko ng 1 year, pinacheck ko. 26 transmission stations for construction. 26. Samantalang 5 taon nagsuffer ang mga tao from Visayas, hindi na nawalan ko rin. They should do the examen, then akta naman tayo rito, yung legal na oversight. Ngayon, ang problema ng Dumaguete is this, pinakausap ko kami lang, katay ng hotel. Ang problema raw, hindi raw, yung daw grid dito ay puno-puno na. No? So, let's see. Tingnan natin ito, baka kung pwede magkaroon ng microgrid na hindi na sasakay doon o is own magkaroon ng grid. There could be an alternative here. Kasi kung minsan, handa na ang lugar, kamukha nitong Negros Oriental, kung talagang full development, economy-wise, jumpstart. Pero ang interest niya kung hindi, dahil hindi makasama sa grid. Let's face it, marami mga dynamics yan. Kung minsan, hindi dadaanan ng grid, subdivision, mga house of lot, kapakal. Ang dami pong problema yan eh. Pero let's look at this as mga isolated, geographic isolated places. No? May mga solution po rin. If ever, no, yan po talaga ang tututukan. Thank you.
Short question for Congressman Tony. Sir, why did you choose to make it as alias
Okay. Kasi sinabayan na namin si Presidente at may activity siya ngayon dito. I think there is a role activity here. Yun, dahil nandiyan siya, sinunod namin siya para ma-attend po siya dito sa rally natin. So kung kapag siya pagkatapos ng trabaho niya, pwede siya dumaan sa rally. So that hindi na din-disrupt yung trabaho niya. At the same time, puntahan niya po yung request namin na makapunta doon sa rally. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Video Tining Abacata. Let's go on Mayan Los Baños of TV5.
Hi, Sir Sen Ramos. Magdi-disclaimer na po ako, pasensya na po kayo. Yung ilan po kasi sa amin dito, Senate beat reporters and Congress reporters. So, impeachment po yung pinupost namin story, sorry po. But, hindi ko na po tatanungin anong stand nyo. But, do you agree that by 20th Congress, and sabi ni SPG's 20th Congress talaga yung magpapayan, this is one hard and serious duty to take on. And the second question is, how will you prepare for it? This goes for lawyers and non-lawyers, new and yung mga old senators to na nare-ready.
Okay, Senator
What's
Soto.
your first question?
First question, do you agree that this is a serious and hard duty to take on po, Senator Soto? Ito, impeachment trial for senators who will stand.
Of course, it's a constitutional mandate. Therefore, it is serious. And for us to consider it at the 20th Congress, if we make it there, definitely we need to be prepared, as we have prepared in the past. But are you sure that it will be the 20th Congress? Because they can take it up now if they want.
Tapos yung latest po kahapon sabi ni Senate President Cheese, 20th Congress po talaga yung mag-take.
Is that what the senator said, or just the Senate President?
As per SPG's lang po. Sa kanya po, 20th Congress should do that trial itself.
Kasi nakakausap ko yung mga senador, hindi ganun yung sinasabi.
Ano po sinasabi?
Pwede raw eh. Hindi raw take up eh.
Now.
Yeah. Kung tutusin, well, I think it's late, but June 2 na lang sila pwede mag-reaction. Well, it's a pity because I think if they referred it to the body during the time that they received transmittal, they could have conducted hearings by the Committee on Rules during the break. And they could have convened if they wanted to by June 2, or even before they convened themselves as an impeachment court. Of course, this is my opinion. Definitely different from the opinion of others. So, Yung kasi narinig ko, nasabi ng iba, hindi kasi daw the 7 senators are re-electionists and they will be campaigning. What more better campaign is to be television every day in the impeachment court? Walang tatalo doon. Parang telenovela yun, manonood ng Pilipinas yun eh. Di ba?
Do you think it's better?
So the thinking na, ano daw kasi daw Mindanao will be, bakit? No ang boto nila, o yes pa boto nila. Boboto sila after the election eh. So anong problema sa Mindanao? Di ba? But they are exercising their constitutional mandate.
Do you think
Well,
it should be
as I
done?
said, that's my opinion, but I think, and that's the opinion of other senators also. So I think they should be interviewed also.
Thank you, sir. Senator.
Yeah, yung tanong mo, any impeachment trial is a serious and hard issue to undertake. Given yan. But hindi naman pwede mag-shirk yung Senate sa responsibility kasi constitutional duty. Once the articles of impeachment have been transmitted to the Senate, walang pwedeng gawin kundi i-take up. Mag-constitute, mag-swear ng oath, pagkatapos itakot. Sabi na sa Constitution, shall proceed forthwith. Although maraming interpretation yung forthwith. Narinig ko si retired Justice sa Ascuna na member ng CONCOM. Sinabi niya, relative yung forthwith kasi ang ibig sabihin, immediately pero walang unreasonable delay. So ang pag-uusapan, meron bang reasonable delay kaya hindi agad atake. No? Ang whether we like it or not, talaga magko-crossover yan sa 20th Congress. Maski nag-start sila noong pagka-receive nila, nag-constitute sila at nagsimula sila mag-draft o mag-amend ng rules o kaya mag-constitute. Aabot at aabot kasi yung due process natin dapat sundin. Presentation pa lang ng mga witnesses at saka evidence sa prosecution, hindi matagal na yun. Hindi naman pwedeng tapusin isang linggo dahil kangaroo ko pa man nalabas na on. So, yun, talaga mag-crossover and how will we prepare for it? In the same manner that we prepare for the impeachment trial ni Chief Justice Corona, ito, mas veterano ito, nabot pa yung impeachment ni President Estrada. Ako, isa lang yung impeachment na, at saka talaga medyo taxing, kasi you're in the middle of, kasi sabi mo hard and serious issue, kasi matatanggal sa pwesto yung isang elected official or appointed in the case of the Chief Justice Corona. Kaya nga po konti naman yung impeachment officials kasi nga binabago yung kanilang posisyon at sila na-impeach at ang kamay nila at ang kanilang pay, kanilang magiging kapalaran nakataya sa 16, at least 16 senators or 2/3. So, kailangan prepare kami lahat dahil ina-assume namin lahat na mananalo kami. Dapat na yun pa lang, prepare kami, mag-brush up kami sa constitution duty namin bilang impeachment mga senator judges. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, pwede po yan, mga baguhan, sir, na posibleng maging senator. How will we prepare?
It's really going to take toll on the legislative function of the Senate. Kasi maubos yung oras dyan. Instead of legislating, pagawa ng batas, nakafocus, pati ang taong bayan sa 20 million. Pwede namin maging telenovela yan, mahaba-haba yan. But in preparation, you say preparation, para sa akin, we will wait. Somebody is accused, and then somebody has to defend. Ngayon, yung nag-accuse, we need to see documents, of course. Ano ba ang basihan mo? Bakit mo sinasabi na kailangan tanggalin itong tao ito? Kasi ganito ang kaso. Saan ang ebidensya? Show me. And then, pagdating sa process of defense, inakusahan ka, what do you do? Can you present to me something na you are not guilty, na hindi ka guilty? Kasi mahirap din naman, because they say, sasabihin ng defense, kalaban namin yung grupo niyo given here. Okay, kaya nga may judges ka. We are different from the other side. We're not ruling Congress. We're the Senate. We are acting as judges. So we also need your evidence, pieces of evidence, supporting your claim that you're not guilty of the charges being brought up before the 24 judges. So we will really have to listen. And that's what I'm preparing right now. What I'm saying is that I want to see both evidence, pieces of evidence. The prosecution and then the defense evidence. Then I have to decide from there. Mahirap po kasi yung nabasa ko lang sa dyaryo, napanood ko sa TV, lalo sa social media, masyadong toxic na. Kailangan yung mga documents mabasa ko both sides. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Pacquiao. Any comment?
Yung proseso ng impeachment, hindi yan madali. Kumbaga, it will take time, especially mga procedures, parating sa floor, mga rules, ang gagawin. At hindi, kung itatakil man, siguro pwede na lang itakil din yan. Tingin ko pwede naman lang itakil, walang siguro problema. Unless kung may valid reason na dahilan sila, pwede nilang ipagpalipas sa Congress. Pero, like I said, na hindi yan madali dahil you have to review all the evidences, yung prosecution side, yung taga-depensa. Maraming pang proseso ang pagdadaanan niyan bago i-process mo. Pero ang akin lang dito is, sana huwag naman haluan ang aking pagkausap sa bayan ng Pilipino, huwag haluan ng masamang interpretation ng pag-process ng constitution natin, ng batas natin. Kasi natural lamang na sinapit ng Congress sa Senate at yung Senate naman ang mag-review lahat ng mga in-approve ng Congress. Tingin ko, kasi dito parang ang Congress, parang sila yung mga piskalya na nag-validate kung ano yung kaso, direct ba itong kaso o wala, may ebidensya pa wala. Siguro nakita nila may ebidensya, so kaya nila i-sinapit sa Senate. At ang Senate naman, hindi niya basta-basta kumbaga wala na yung desisyon. Kailangan it will take time na pag-usapan ng buong body ng buong Senate. Maraming salamat.
May I clarify one point? I think this is a very important point. When you say 20th Congress na, was there a crossover of impeachment? Did they convene or will they convene? Ano ang sabi ng Senado?
They'll start,
Mag-convene sila sa June 2 or hindi?
they'll start the pre-trial po on June 2, meaning amending the rules.
Meaning they will constitute themselves as an impeachment court. Okay. Ngayon, doon na ngayon yung papasok ng mga magtatanong. Does it cross over or not? Yun ang tutunong tanong. So, tama na mabuting i-convene na. Kung gusto ko nga, sana i-convene nila agad. It's also good for the impeached officer. Di ba? Kung masabi ka agad na guilty or whatever. Maganda, kasi pagka hindi, how does it cross over to the 20th Congress if they did not receive it or did not acknowledge the receipt? Yun ang isang issue eh. Diba? Kaya dapat talaga ang tawag mo ka. Okay, thank you.
Let's hear from Secretary Abalos. Have some views on this, sir?
Well, yes. Number one, this is a constitutional duty. If I would like to reiterate time again, constitutional duty. Hindi ito, it's not my choice, but ito yung talagang duty mo ang dapat mo gawin. Dahil ito yung mandato mismo ng Constitution. Ngayon, sa nilarace ni Senator Soto dito, ang first portion kasi dito ang rules. So, kung sakali kung convene ito, yung rules pag-uusapan before the impeachment rules, ano mangyayari dito? Siyempre, hindi mo naman nakatapos yan. Kakabutin talaga na susunod na sinabi ito. Kaya yun ang issue. Kung sakaling abutin, lalagin na ba rin ito yung mapopos o hindi? O o gagawa ng panibagong batas. Kasi hindi ko talaga yan, nag-cross over yan. But then, sa totoo lang, once dumating ito, importante rito ang lusot ko. We must brush up on the lusot ko. Because this is the rules of procedure. Mabigat-bigat ito. And at the same time, yung evidence, how do you accept evidence here? But at the end of the day, as an impeachment court, it is evidence that is important. The ones that are presented will suffer. Napaka-importante po.
Sorry, isang follow-up lang kay Senator Soto po, sir. Sir, may we know how many senators you talk to na nagsasabi, present senators na nagsasabi, willing and ready sila to convene the impeachment court now?
I would say easily about 4 or 5 of them. I will not name them. 4 or 5 of them, and according to at least 2 of them, the others feel the same way.
Salamat po. Thank you.
Okay, then, so we'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Francis Tolentino, abogado, and Lingkod Paya, Senate Majority Leader, utol natin sa Senado, tol ng bawat Pilipino. Once again, let's welcome Senator Francis Tolentino.
Hindi ko ata narinig yung question, but thinking about impeachment. Nasa Nebraska.
Okay, which is like,
Ay, Senator. Sir, since 20th Congress daw po yung gagawa ng trial ng impeachment, do you think it's a serious and hard duty that you would take on once manalo po kayo ulit? And how are you preparing? Especially kung abogado naman na kayo, sir.
Supreme Court, kung pwede yung Congress ay may jurisdiction, or rather the jurisdiction is vested solely with the 19th Congress, since the complaint was filed during the 19th Congress, and the prosecutors were prosecuted under the 19th Congress. So, siguro kung meron naman sa Supreme Court, it's a case that is perhaps in a few weeks' time would be ripe for adjudication. So, this is a legal question. Kaya natin itong sunod na mga Supreme Court cases na matapos ang decision. So, pag yung question mo kung handa, ganun pa rin naman yung sagot na dapat to be impartial, neutral, objective when approaching case such as this, which is very important. So, yung narinig ko kanina yung sa rules, ako po yung chairman ng Committee on Rules. So, right now, we have resolution number 39, which was adopted March 23, 2011, used during the Corona impeachment. Our Congreso, our Congreso, establish lang yan, nagkakaroon ng resolution to utilize the existing impeachment rules. So, kung merong upgrade dito, siguro yung dapat gawin, lalo na sa paggamit ng virtual, online, acceptance of testimony, as well as the utilization of Wi-Fi, etc. during the presentation of the evidence. So, yun lang siguro.
okay, so thank you, Senator Tolentino. Let's hear from JD Santiago, IBC 13.
Good afternoon po. This is